Heyo, what up? What's happening? What's going on? What is going down? All right, so normally in this part of the show, I'm stumbling through the dark looking for a lifeline, as I'm sure you're aware, unless you skip this part of the show, in which case, sit down. I'll sort you out later. But not today, because we have some business that we must attend to in this part of the show, known as the intro, I believe they call it. Anyway, I'm being stupid. Seriously, though, we are going to be moving to once a week for the foreseeable future. There are many different reasons for this, most of which is that I'm moving, Meech is looking to move. It's just there's lots on right now, and we don't have the time to dedicate to 2 shows a week and really make them quality shows. So we've decided to dial it back to once a week. And yeah, you know, it is what it is. But I do think it's actually worked out in favor for this show, at least this particular week, because it is chocked full of sports talk, packed to the brim with sports. So without further ado, as I am known to say, let's get, oh wait, Mortal Kombat is dope. If you like blood and guts, it's awesome. Go watch it. All right, let's start the show. Welcome to this episode of Stone Sports. I am Bert. With me as always, I have Dubs. Say what up, Dubs.
What up, Vutzia?
And Meech. What up, Meech?
What up?
All right,
Still
boys.
no nicknames, I see.
No nicknames. No nicknames.
Yeah, real slacking on the nickname game over here, bro.
Yeah.
I get a little bit of anticipation every single time we start, and then just
Yeah, a little bit of me dies inside every time.
deflating is what it is.
Yeah.
Ow. I'm in
All
the midst
Brady
of a
up in this
move.
bitch.
So- all
Starting out hot.
Yeah, start out real hot. All right, hit me with an oof, Dubs, and then we'll move through.
All right, oof of the week is back. So we've got a woman in Poland. She called animal control over a mysterious animal hanging from a tree in her yard. It was there for a couple of days. Animal control climbed up the tree. They retrieved the animal in question, which turned out to be, drumroll please, boys, a croissant.
I was totally expecting like a small human, a dwarf maybe.
Why was I thinking that a human was going to be the answer
Yeah.
to that too?
It was
Yeah.
just a guy hanging in the tree, like from his
Yeah,
feet,
just a
just
cat
watching at her
dude
window.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, it's a croissant. Oh, okay. I guess it
Like the bread, like croissant, like a
like a croissant.
A croissant.
A croissant, yeah.
Croissant.
I guess it's a chill job to be a cop in Poland. Probably
It's a
not.
fucking
Animal
shitty
control.
way to fucking
Animal control.
Oh, right. Well, they're animal control. I feel like that's chill everywhere. Like you're just chilling.
Except
Yeah.
for Pawnee. Rabid raccoon.
Except Wichita, Kansas in like the 70s.
Oh,
too. BTK was doing
no. Oh, no. We're not going down the BTK road. I could talk about him for like 4 hours. That dude terrifies the shit out of me. Actually, I got one thing to say. There was a guy who worked, when I worked at the University of Richmond, there was a guy who worked there who looked exactly like Dennis Rader. Like, exactly like him. If I showed you a photo of the guy, I'd be like, who's that? You'd say, oh, it's Dennis Rader. Nope, that's the guy that worked with me. Unfortunate for him. I'm surprised you didn't use the oof that I sent you the other day.
Yeah, I would have, but it was from 2016.
Oh.
But yeah, shout out to that man. Florida man threw an alligator through a drive-through window
And was
2016.
arrested with assault with a deadly weapon. He used a gator as a deadly
That's
weapon.
not wrong.
It's not wrong at all.
If
I
you
just
throw
thought
an
it was
alligator
amazing.
into a confined space with somebody, that should 1,000% count as a deadly weapon, and
Yeah.
I'm glad it did.
Absolutely.
Even
Absolutely.
a backwards ass place like Florida was like, nope, deadly weapon.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
we did use that, we would just have to start calling the segment Alligator of the Week.
Yeah, that's 100% true.
That's so true. I was actually talking to my dad about it, and I was like, man, fuck Florida. And he said, nah, I like Florida. And I just proceeded to lay out all the information. And after about 15 minutes, I had him on my side. He was like, yeah, you're right. Fuck that place.
The Alagoof.
Well, it's
of the
also
week.
right after winter for you guys, so like I feel like that's a vulnerable time for you people
Yeah.
in the Northeast. You know.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about some baseball.
Baseball.
Are you ready for some baseball? It doesn't work as well.
I don't really have anything for baseball. The Dodgers-Padres series continues to be entertaining. Tatis started to hit again, but I really want to just beat him. And I'm for the let the kids play thing. It's not even that he's celebrating.
Oh, spider! Oh, fuck!
I just fucking hate him. And he's obviously way too comfortable at the plate against us. Make him a little better. Is he really?
Yeah, I think there really is a spider.
I got it.
Oh, I hope that stays in.
It's staying in, baby. It's staying in.
Jesus Christ. So anyway, just to make him a little bit more uncomfortable at the plate, I feel like we should beat him because I just can't stand that fucker. Game started at 4:08 though, so I don't know how it's going right now, but it's continued to be an entertaining series.
Jacob deGrom for Birdie's Mets had a fucking nasty outing the other day.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, deGrom and like Alonso are the only ones that seem to be really. Well, that's not true.
Also,
a lot of the pitching is going well, but as far as the offense goes, it's just like it's Alonso all the way, really.
I'll get back to deGrom. I'll get back to deGrom in a second. But speaking of Alonso, why do you guys hit him second in the order?
Dude, don't ask me any questions about the offense because a couple weeks ago, Meech and I were playing. It probably wasn't even a couple weeks ago. It was, some time ago. Meech and I were playing NHL at like 3 a.m. here, my time. And he was asking me like, what's going on with the offense? And I just started screaming, I don't fucking know because I don't know. Because I just don't understand.
They've had one of the best rotations in baseball for like 10 years now, honestly. They have had great rotations, just classic. Like Matz, who they finally traded, has been their third or fourth starter every year, and that's fantastic. But for some reason, they just can't get offense ever. I mean, there is a theory, though, among a lot of MLB managers that you bat your best hitter second because it gives them more at-bats. Trout's always batted second. Christian Yelich bats second usually.
I've heard that too, Meech, but that's like if I were the Mets, I would have Lindor hitting third with that adage. And if a power hitter like Alonso, you want to get as many people on base for him as possible. I get the at-bats thing, but with that guy specifically, like he should be batting third or cleanup.
Yeah, but here you're missing the point.
Right.
People don't get on base in front of him anyway, so it doesn't really.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, that's the issue.
Fair.
When you have no offense, I guess you got to try to get him in as many times as possible. But yeah, I don't know. DeGrom is killing
DeGrom's nasty. How many people in a row did he retire? Like 20, 21?
I don't even know.
Like
I don't even know.
It was a lot.
It was a shitload. But I saw someone recently say that it was like a couple years ago he was throwing like 93. And now he's throwing like 97. It's like it's getting faster.
Usually it goes the other way.
Yeah, exactly. He's a freak of fucking nature, dude. Love that guy. Love him.
Still young, right? Like he can't be that old.
No, but it's just weird that like he's getting older and he's
older than you think,
and it's getting faster. You know what I mean?
He's definitely still like in his prime.
Yeah, for sure.
32. You're right. That doesn't usually happen.
Yeah.
I thought he was younger than that. I thought he was like 27, 28 for some reason.
No.
Yeah.
It's
I
just
thought
weird.
that like a couple of years, last year maybe, I was like, oh, he's older than I fucking thought he was.
Yeah.
Good for him. Good for him. Good for him, as Christopher Walken would say.
NL East, sticking on them for a second here. Every team in the NL East has a losing record except for the Mets currently.
Yeah, but that's partially because they're all beating up on each other. I mean, you could argue that's the most competitive division in football.
Baseball. And we said that. We did say that in our preview.
You know what happened there? I was making a parallel to the NFC West.
I know exactly what happened in your
brain.
And
so I was like making a parallel in my head, and then I didn't like verbalize it correctly. I was going to talk about how like the 49ers almost made the playoffs with like the most injuries ever. Even in that division. But yeah, no. So yeah, no. the NL East is one of the it's probably the best division in baseball, honestly.
Yeah.
And so you're gonna have that because there's no nights off. I feel like you're just killing each other.
It's a slaughter.
It's a slog.
Madaras row.
Murder, slog.
Ayo.
Oakland A's stretch their win streak to 13 games. That is the longest winning streak in the MLB since 2017. What team had that winning streak?
No idea.
Since 2017, you said?
Yep.
Dodgers?
Cleveland.
Oh, fuck! Damn it! I was almost going to say Cleveland. God damn it! And then I was like, no, 2017 was a really good year for the Dodgers. It might have been them. Damn it. Okay. I'm really mad at myself because I was about to say Indians. I was about to say Cleveland Indians. God damn it.
Go with the gut, bro. Go with the
I don't
gut.
think you can say Cleveland I words anymore.
Yeah, I mean, they are this season, so you can.
That's true. Get them
They're
in while you
changing it
can.
next season.
Get them in while you can.
Exactly.
But yeah, the Oakland A's are fucking killing it. Extended.
Yeah,
their
they
win
started
streak.
off 1-7, right?
Yep, and they've absolutely flipped it around. Bob Melvin's one of the longest tenured managers there. A's have a lot of talent. Back to our preview from the spring training. We picked the A's to win the NL West, so it's good to see them
No.
starting to.
AL West.
Oh, pulled them each.
Yeah, we're all just we're all just effed up with divisions right now.
Blame it on the ganja. But yeah, good to see them starting to figure it out and put some wins together and look like the team that we expected them to be.
Yeah, I mean, and they always find a way. It seems like every
been
year
great
they're at the
the last
top of
few
that
years.
division,
Yep.
despite having no payroll.
Yep. Well-run organization that is.
Yeah.
Onto some injuries here. Anthony Rendon, Mike Trout, and Yadier Molina all expected to return within the next couple of days, possibly by the time this podcast comes out. So good to see some stars coming back to the league from injury. And some more negative news. Christian Yelich tried to get an MRI, and we have no results back on that at this time. But I feel for the guy because he can't seem to stay fucking healthy since that breakout season he had.
Yeah. I mean, and then being healthy is a problem around the league. I mean, I have on my fantasy team 3 IL spots.
Full.
I currently have
Constantly
4 people. I have 4 people on my bench that are injured that I can't put in injured spots because there's just that many. Like so many people.
It's always a battle in the MLB with that stuff because you get people out for 3-4 days at a time because there's so many games and you miss like a couple games in a row just for the smallest thing.
It's better now that they have the 10-day deal because before that you had to pop them on the 15-day deal, and that's essentially 3 series or the better part of 3 series. So that's a pretty big miss. The 10-day deal
part of the season, it could be 4.
Yeah.
To fucking 12 to 15 games there.
Right.
But yeah, the 10-day DL is definitely cut down on that and helped it.
Yeah, for sure.
Meech's boy, Bruce Bochy,
Ugh.
asked if he could possibly return to coaching, left the door wide the fuck open, like my boy Brad did a couple weeks ago. Just left that door wide the fuck open. So
I mean, I feel like he kind of got ushered out in San Fran.
It seemed that way.
Because he was part of the last regime and they basically gutted everything.
And he was rumored to go to a couple places in the offseason this year, but it never ended up coming to fruition.
I mean, unfortunately, I have to admit that he's a great manager.
Yeah.
I hate him, but not a shocker there. And after it would be interesting. I mean, La Russa looks to be working out in Chicago. Bochy's up there, but I still think he can manage games. I mean, none of those teams he took to the World Series were the best team that year. None of them. 2 of them were wild card berths. So, I mean, that's why they changed the wild card rule. He's a good manager. He can put talent together, and even in San Diego, he was recognized as a decent manager back when they weren't spending money really. So, pretty good manager. And that wouldn't shock me if he finds a place somewhere.
100% agree. Last thing I had for MLB here is a quick little contenders or pretenders. I saw an article on MLB.com, and I thought that's way too early to, figure that out for a team. But I was curious your thoughts. The teams they picked were the Red Sox, Royals, A's, Giants, and Mariners. I was curious if you think any of those teams, specifically me, Spur to you too, if anyone from that list could be a contender down the line this season.
Red
Sox, Royals, A's, Giants, Mariners. We can start with the Red Sox if you want.
They've surprised. I'm just gonna do a preamble to this.
Yeah.
But basically, when we've seen it with the A's, it's such a long season, and it's so hard to do weekly updates or anything like that on divisions. I mean, we've seen it. The Dodgers started out really well. They've had trouble the last couple series. We saw it with the A's. They started out 1-7, then they're on a 13-game win streak. The baseball season is just a different monster because of the length of it. That being said, I think the Red Sox are going to be more competitive than I thought they were going to.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
We will see.
Said it.
And I told this to Double, even when they were on that winning streak that they were on. We'll see if the pitching lasts, because that was my concern. My concern was not their offense.
That's the biggest concern and the biggest question mark. And
right, and it's been
is able to keep up, and if Sale is able to come back and add to that pitching rotation and be Chris Sale, like we talked about with Steve, that's gonna be, the X factor of if we can be a contender or not. But
right, I mean, I do think.
Agree with you, Meech.
Yeah, I do think they are for real. I just think that they might run into problems later in the year with their pitching because it's just not that deep. And that's the name of the game.
Also, this is our first podcast since I went to the game. Fucking awesome. Glad to be back. Garrett Richards is a fucking trash can.
Yeah, I don't know why you guys were so quick to quit. Like, I felt like there was a lot of hubbub about him, and I don't necessarily know why.
We've given him $10 million to have a fucking half-grown in mustache and throw fucking 75 balls an outing. He's garbage.
And give up at least like 3 or 4 runs. I mean, that's on the low end, I feel like, for him.
Low end, yeah.
He has not
on his best day.
He hasn't looked good since he was an Angel. I mean, honestly. He was
an early Angel.
He was an Angel. He had that season-ending injury. He was a free agent after that, and he just has not looked the same.
Nope.
I have something to say. Yeah. I think Half-Grown Mustache would be a great title for a podcast if this wasn't called Stone Sports. Half-Grown Mustache is a great name for a sports podcast. All right, I'm done.
We could also talk about that as the name of the episode. But yeah, like a beard trimming podcast or something. Like a beard maintenance podcast.
I was just saying, like, you just have a sports podcast, you just call it Half-Grown Mustache. It doesn't mean anything. It's completely irrelevant.
Show pictures of like Garrett Richards and Austin Matthews.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Body bag.
Yeah, so the Red Sox, just to circle back, just to circle back around, the Red Sox could be a threat. I still don't think they're winning the division. They might lock up the wild card, which is better than I thought they would do, but it all is very dependent on that pitching. Can they sustain it? The Royals, I haven't watched a ton of Royals this year, and I usually am a fan of the Royals. Like I root for them kind of because I love their stadium. But I think they have a lot of good young talent, and it's not a winnable division because you have the White Sox that are juggernauts.
The Twins are perennially good at this point.
Yeah, the Twins are still good. But the Royals, once again, with the not the best team, when they won the World Series, they weren't the best team. When they went to the World Series, they weren't the best team.
That's true.
if they can gel together with this young core, mix in some of those veterans that they have a shot. They could be it, but it's going to be a pretty big task to beat the White Sox and the Twins.
To me, they're a team that's still a few years out and they're overperforming right now, but it's good to see. And you're going to get a good assessment of the young talent you have and talent that's expendable and what you need to work on in the next couple of years to make that team a contender.
Yeah, and their GM is known. Dayton Moore is known. He came from the Braves. He's known for developing a farm system, and you are seeing that. He's been there for, I think, 3 years, maybe a little bit more. So you're starting to see the fruits of his labor, all of his draft picks, all that stuff come into the majors. And that's the key in baseball: drafting well, developing young talent, and bringing them up to the major league level. So I think they're kind of a pretender. I don't want to say that, but I don't think they're as good as they are showing that they are right now.
For the sake of this segment, they're pretenders, but we gave them their due credit there for sure. If you're listening to it, you heard that first part there. We gave them their due. The A's we just talked about before that, it seems like we're all pretty much on the side that they are contenders. They are a good team, as we talked about before. And then from there, we got Meech's Giants, who I personally I think are pretenders. They've started out hot. I think it's the same kind of situation that you just stated with the Royals. Not in the same sense that like they're past, but just currently it's a stacked division. And you're going to have to overcome the Dodgers, and it's looking like you're going to have to overcome the Padres, and I don't know if they have the talent right now to do that.
Yeah, I mean, Arizona's in pretty full rebuild, and so is Colorado.
Right.
So they are the third team, really. But like you said, those two teams are two of the best teams of baseball. They are going to have to overcome that, and there's no way they're going to right now. I would say they are pretenders because I don't even think that now, and we will see with them, they are earlier on that rebuild schedule than the Royals are for sure, because Farhan Zaidi, our old GM, just took over for them as their president of operations. And so we'll see what he does there. I will say that since he's left, I have liked Friedman as the GM so much better. But that being said, he is good at finding people. He also came from the A's before that, so he has that pedigree where he can find talent in the minors, bring it up. I still say they're pretenders because they're about 2 to 3 years off, I feel like, from even fielding a team, really.
Agreed.
Also, they have all of those contracts, all of the big contracts that are have been weighing them down, that are older stars for them. So like Johnny Cueto, Buster Posey, Brandon Crawford, all of those contracts fall off at the end of the year. So we'll see what they do. They could move that up, and they have some young talent around them, but I still think they're 2 to 3 years off.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. The last team I had on there was the Mariners. I think, again, it's sort of a similar situation to the Royals. They have a lot of young talent up right now. I still think they're a couple years away from competing. But again, like I said, with the Royals, you're going to get a good assessment of what you have and what you still need.
Well, and that division as a whole is kind of tough to judge this year because
the Angels have sort of overperformed too.
The Angels have come out and actually looked decent. Whether Ohtani can stay healthy, whether they can continue to have the pitching that they've had better pitching than they usually have, which is different for them. They usually cannot find pitching.
Big plus.
Yeah, so that will be an interesting division. And where will the wild card come out of in the AL?
Yeah.
So we'll see the 2 wild cards. Where will 2 of them come out of? Usually one comes out of the AL East. We'll see if another one comes out of the AL West or not.
Good fucking baseball segment, boys. I think we can wrap it up there and come into some basketball.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right. So we'll start off with Steph Curry. Still hot. Just absolutely fucking killing it right now. We talked about that on last show. He on another planet, unconscious, but he says he believes he is the MVP. Quote, I have to be at this point. So he believes he's
mean,
done enough to lock up the MVP, but we've talked about it before. They give it to basically the best player on the best team, and the Warriors are not the best team.
well, we'll see. We'll see. It's kind of in a year where anything could happen. I feel like there is some fatigue on Giannis. So I don't know if he's going to get it this year. Your perennial candidates, LBJ, James Harden, have kind of fallen back due to injury. You have Embiid and the Joker that have compelling cases. You also
The
have
thing with
Dame.
Jokic too, Meech, is now that Jamal Murray's gone for the rest of the season, Jokic's workload is going to go way up. Stats could inflate because of that and could get more MVP looks. His odds actually lowered. They went from around 280 to 360 after the Murray injury. Minus.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and so it will be interesting in a year that has been a little weird as far as MVP conversations go. I definitely think Curry's in the running. I think it would be pretty hard to not give it to Joker after the Mitchell injury. And if they stay like 4th or 5th seed, I feel like you could argue that he is the most valuable player in the league because he's literally willed his team into the playoffs in a high seed without his second weapon, that team's second weapon.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So, I mean, it could go to Curry, and we'll see what happens if Curry gets the Warriors in the playoffs too. I don't know where they stand right now. But that's what I'm saying. It could happen this year. I mean, this is the year where you're not going to get the usual list of candidates.
Yeah, like you said, Harden and LeBron fell back for injury. Talk about Jokic, Curry, and Embiid, and it's essentially a 3-man race right now because Portland's sort of fallen back as well. Jokic, like I said,
and
is
I
the
just
favorite.
kind of want him to win one. Like
I
for
do
me,
too. I do too.
For him.
I'm with you. Jeannie Buss, Lakers owner, named her top 5 most important Lakers, sorry. And she got a little bit of flack for it. Number 1, Kobe. No one disagreed with that. Kareem, Magic, LeBron, and Phil Jackson. People were pretty pissed that she left Jerry West off because he was a career Laker and is, of course, the logo for the NBA.
Yeah, I mean that's a no-win. I think. Honestly, there's been so. I mean, it's like that's like saying the top 5 of the Celtics. Like, it's just so hard. They've had such a dominant franchise run.
Illustrious history.
Exactly. Yeah, well put. They've had such an illustrious history. They've had so many good players. It's pretty hard to nail that down. It's a little weird that Jerry West is excluded from that list. And that LeBron's on it.
Just because of the short tenure, he won. I mean, he obviously won a championship and brought 17 there, but
he brought relevance back to the team, and he gave the team back to Jeannie Buss because part of the whole thing was Jeannie ceded control to her brother.
Right.
In the years after her father died, absent them making the playoffs, either making the playoffs or winning a championship. I believe it was winning a championship. And that just didn't happen. So he is pretty impactful when you look at it that way. It's pretty hard given his tenure to put him up there, though.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. And again, West isn't just like a career Laker that was just around for 15, 20 years. He's the logo of the
he was also their GM for
right, like he's
10, 15 years,
huge part of the Lakers,
and mentored Mitch Kupchak, their other GM, for 20 years. So I mean, Jerry West is pretty impactful when you mention the Lakers. I feel like that's a pretty hard list to leave him off of.
Moving on from that, Zion Williamson became the fastest player to reach 2,000 points since Michael Jordan. So,
by the way, Jeannie Buss is also.
Stands. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I just want to wrap it up. Jeannie Buss is also a boss. She is a badass woman, dude, and she usually has something in mind when she's saying something. So I'm sure she thought about what she was saying. I'm sure what she said had some kind of
reasoning,
forward movement or reasoning in it. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't just clickbait.
Exactly. I'm sure she said that for a reason. Sorry to interrupt you. I was just thinking back on
You're good,
that.
bro. Way to wrap it up. This should be a lesson to everyone. Make sure you wrap it up.
Double wrap it.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
That's just a waste of money.
Nah, man, you just go to
Zion.
Planned Parenthood and steal all the condoms. Pro tip.
Then start throwing them like you have so much money. Just like
You just print
condoms!
wolf.com on them and you drop them from a helicopter over spring
Wolf!
break.
Condoms. It's Wolf. It's Rye, the Wolf guy. He's throwing condoms and money.
Oh my god, what is he throwing? He's throwing condoms.
Yeah, thanks, Rye. Thanks, Rye from Wolf.
All right, let's get it back on track.
Zion,
back on
fastest player to reach 2,000 points since Michael Jordan. Just a stat that the Zion stands can cling on to when they are trying to, claim him to be the
Do the mental gymnastics.
Messiah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm not hating on Zion. I like Zion. I think he's going to be great.
Already has been given the expectations. He has been great.
Yeah.
And I'm not even a Zion guy. Like, just looking at him, I'm just like, what? But you can't argue against the numbers he's putting up there.
He's killing it, man. And to wrap up the NBA here, we're going to go a sad note. 2 deaths in the NBA world this week. Scottie Pippen's oldest son and Terrence Clark, NBA draft prospect from Worcester, Massachusetts, very close to my hometown. Celtics were expected to take him with one of their second round picks. There's a lot of talk that might still happen just to honor him. So RIP to those two and T's and P's.
T's and P's. RIP. A lot of abbreviations there in that minute. All right, so hockey?
Hockey took.
All right. So before we get into the, sort of bigger stories of the day, figure we'll talk some
The big
injuries,
boys.
boys. Figure we'll talk some injuries. One of them is actually kind of a big story, but we'll get to that. So there's a few injuries, and, the NHL is staying, what's the phrase I'm looking for? It's
Relevant.
Yeah, well, it's typical NHL season, and
I think he
you get
means
to the last,
on the lowdown.
the last 2 weeks, you get a lot of injuries. Just it's the way it works. So Cassian for the Oilers is week to week. Didn't really say what the injury
my
was,
Oilers.
but the coach said he saw him and he was fine. So he's week to week. Probably means he'll be back in a couple games. Who knows what the injury is. Zach Bogosian, though, is out for the Leafs for 4 weeks with a shoulder injury. And he's a defenseman, which is something I feel personally in watching the Leafs that they can't really afford to lose. Like on offense, they're fucking pretty locked up, pretty lock solid, but it seems like they're lock solid. I think the term is rock solid. Okay.
They're pretty lock solid,
They're pretty
Jeff.
fucking lock solid. But goaltending seems to be wishy-washy with them, which, as we talked about, may just be part of the grueling hockey season. Could also be symptomatic of a larger issue. But I feel like if your goalie situation is like that, losing defensemen is not what you need. Because, as we all know, defensemen make a goalie's job easier. So we'll see how that affects the Leafs going into the playoffs. But here's the big injury. Ovechkin is out. He has a lower body injury. No info on the time frame. It could be a short-term injury. Sometimes lower body injuries are just, groin strains or some sort of strain, and it's like a few games and then they're back in. But it could be a bigger problem, which is a big problem for the Capitals. Because
they can't really afford to lose any pieces, honestly.
No, exactly. They can't, especially with their goaltending situation being what it is. Much like the Leafs, it's not solid, and they need it to be solid.
The Leafs have been a lot more consistent as far as scoring. The Capitals have been really inconsistent as far as scoring, a certain amount every night, I feel like. So I don't know that they can stand to lose him for very long, especially in the heat of that race.
Yeah, no, I agree with you because our division is a race right now. Everyone is real tight in, and it's going to be really interesting in the next week to see what the final placement really is.
When you lose a player of that caliber, regardless if you're in a playoff race or not, it's going to throw off the team a little bit.
Right, especially considering the trade they just made. Now Mantha is working out for him. He scored some points, but you lost 2 guys who could have potentially picked up that slack.
Yeah, Vrana, I mean, it's...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he is what he is. A fucking
monster.
beast. Yeah, he's a fucking monster. So we'll see how that affects the Capitals as well. But, again, no info on it, as is the NHL, motto, I guess. But not staying true to type, the Flyers have actually been very transparent about the Ghost Bear, who I don't know about Meech, but I know Dubs and I are Ghost Bear fans.
Big Ghost Bear guy.
Yeah, like
what
the
the
guy.
hell is a Ghost Bear?
Ghostus Bear. They call him the Ghost Bear.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was like, is this some myth or something with the state? Like, I'm not like
It's
a
like the
super
New
hockey
Jersey
fan,
Devil
so-
or the Mothman or something. The Ghost Bear. Sounds like a wrestler. Ghost
The
Bear
New
sounds like a
Jersey
wrestler.
Devil is not a man. The Jersey Devil is.
Yeah, you're right. You're
New
right.
Jersey Devil is
A hockey team.
there's a bunch of them.
Yeah, right. Fair enough. So anyway, he's out 7 to 10 days with an MCL injury. So
Ooh.
it's just a strain. It's just a sprain. It's not a big. He doesn't have to get surgery or anything. It's like I said, 7 to 10 days. But they can't afford that. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
They're out of the playoffs.
I just don't like ACL, MCL,
no,
anything,
absolutely not.
because they could lead to something far, far worse.
Oh yeah, they can be career-ending things for sure.
I mean, I don't know about career-ending.
Well, they can
today's
lead to
world,
things
but
that
they'll
can-
they'll miss. You'll miss a season.
Right. I mean, it's not necessarily career ending, but it can definitely affect the quality of a player if
Right.
it gets bad enough. They'll never be what they were before. So that stuff always worries me personally. But yeah, that's the injury report for the week. Some not so bad things and some potentially devastating things. We shall see. And we could talk about the teams that clinched the playoffs, of which there are 3, I believe, and they're all
Correct.
in the West, all in
They're
the
all the same
same
division.
division. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the Wild and the Knights, and who's the third team? Colorado.
Colorado.
Yep.
Yeah, Colorado. So, yeah, I mean, I saw that coming a mile away, especially for Vegas, because they have just been destroying it all season long. It's all
Yeah,
they've been doing.
And Colorado has not been great lately, but we've talked about it. They built up
They
such
were
a
on that
lead,
huge streak.
and there's so many basement dwellers in the West that, yeah.
Can beat up on a few of them, which is
Yeah.
why there's 3 people clinched in the same division. But I'm sorry, I lost what I was gonna say.
Maybe something about the Wild?
No, it was the Knights. I remembered.
Uh-huh.
We were talking about the Knights at the beginning of the season, talking about if they could keep it up, and they have. They've kept it up all season long.
Yeah.
They've been dominant, and they look like a contender for the cup.
They've got a very complete roster, as they say in the sports
Yeah.
world. It's really
Probably
well built.
the best goaltending duo in the NHL right now, honestly.
That's
Yeah,
Up there for sure.
definitely. I agree with you. I wouldn't say they are. I don't think you can say like firmly the top pair, but they're definitely in that conversation above a lot of others. We can talk about Yandel and his record that is continuing to. What's the word I'm looking for? Help me out here, Dubs. I need a lifeline. What's the word I'm looking for?
Soldier on.
Yes, there you go. Thank you. Yes. Yeah. How many games is it now? It's got to be a metric fuck
815.
ton. Yeah, that's ridiculous.
815 straight games for Keith Yandel. He's about 60 away from breaking the record. He is now the second longest Ironman streak of all time in the NHL.
Wait,
Yeah.
Does Marlowe have the other one? Doesn't Marlowe hold an Ironman streak?
Marlowe currently has an Ironman streak,
Yeah.
but it's less than Yandel's. Marlowe had 2 Ironman streaks, though.
Yeah, he's got one for like most games played, right?
Yeah, but he also has like 2 wicked long Ironman streaks. He's currently on one, and he had one.
I like Patrick Marlowe. I like that guy.
Which I think was where Meech was getting that from, because
Right.
Yandel, I believe, broke Marlowe's first one, the record for that of a couple months ago, last month maybe.
Yeah, it was some time ago. That's really all I have
Gotcha.
for hockey. I'm sure, Dubs, you have some things you want to talk about. Maybe Meech has a few things he'd like to pepper in there.
Yeah, I was gonna talk about. There's a couple for the NHL schedule change.
Are you okay? Do you have to sneeze?
Hold on.
He's gonna go clear his house with a fucking knife.
It sounded like
I
he
got
had
it.
to sneeze. You know that thing people do with their voice when they're like,
I thought he was reaching for notes.
no, reaching for notes. That's a good memoir title.
Reaching for notes.
The Stone
Reaching
Sports
for notes.
Story.
The Stone Sports memoir.
Doubles.
But no, they
trebles.
got. They're talking about changing some schedule.
Hold on. That was a good joke.
Get the body bag.
All right.
Charles?
All right. Go ahead, Dub. Sorry, man.
They're talking about changing up some things for the schedule next season. There's two options proposed. The first one, home with opposing conference, they play 32 games. 3 games versus other teams in division in conference that equal out to 24 games, and the remaining 26 games of the schedule would be within the division. So 4 versus 5 teams, and then 3 versus other 2.
I don't know. I don't know. You know, I actually really kind of like the way it's played out this season. I think it's kind of cool,
And
but you know,
The second option is basically this season. That's why they've
right,
done it.
right. I don't know. I guess it depends on the lay of the land. We'll see. You know, but that could be interesting. That could work. I can see that working. It would be nice to be able to get looks at other teams too. You know, like because the casual fan is really only watching their team, so you don't see what's happening in the West a lot. So that could be good if they have to, you know, still maintain some sort of COVID protocol stuff here. But hopefully it'll be over by then. Let's hope and pray.
Side note, Bernie.
Yeah.
Did you hear Conway the Machine's album?
No, I did not. It's
Really
got to be
good. You
fire.
should check
Of
it
course
out,
it
yeah.
is, bro. That dude is a beast. He's the machine. Fucking love that guy.
Real good. But anyway, that was all I had for NHL. Unless Meech had anything left.
Nah, I've stopped gambling, so I've kind of
Stop
paid up
gambling.
NHL. But I'm guessing as soon as the playoffs are back in full swing, we've said it before, the playoffs in the NHL are just the
Exhilarating.
best.
Yeah,
Yep.
I mean, I thought about
just the
we
best.
could talk about, you know, what we thought that was going to look like, but I've always kind of been maintaining a viewpoint that I personally can't call it until the first round has started. Because like we've said before, once the playoffs start, it's anyone's game. So it's hard to call it outside the playoffs, but once they start, you can get, you know, kind of an idea. Like a couple years ago when the Blues did their thing, I texted my buddy in the first round. I was like, Blues are winning this year. And they won. Like, you can just tell sometimes the team has like a fucking get up and go. You know, they look hungry. So we'll get to that eventually. But let's talk about some football.
Football. Biggest news story in football this week was the change to the jersey number rule, which I think some people don't even really know that there was a rule for
Yeah,
that, but,
they don't. Yeah.
so the NFL, each position has a set of numbers that they're allowed to choose for their jersey, and the change this week was they really relaxed that and opened it up so it could be a lot more like college football where players can basically choose whatever number they want. But we ran into a couple issues with that. Tom Brady criticized it. His complaints really were pretty dumb to me. Didn't think that
Yeah,
had much
I
substance to
mean,
it.
I agree.
I understand it. As far as they do call out coverages and everything,
Right.
but Brady's the best to ever play the game. He's going to adapt, and he's going to do it better than any other quarterback.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It'll be pissed for it. But the second issue that people ran into this week, Dalvin Cook tried to change his number. He wore 4 in high school and college, so he tried to go back to 4. And it would have cost him $1.5 million to buy out the stock of the all of the current jerseys made with the number that he currently has, which is
Oh.
32. So he would have had to buy $1.5 million worth of jerseys before he could switch to his new number so they could make new jerseys.
Yeah,
That's
but that
ridiculous.
rule only lasts a year. So basically the rule is from the NHL, and we've seen it on like Fanatics
NFL.
websites. Whenever you go to buy a jersey, they have the jersey guarantee. It's basically clearing out the rest of that stock if you
Right.
move or switch teams or anything. And so they have to wait a year, and then they can change their number without worrying about it, because the NFL depletes the stock of the jersey, and then you're good. But
Do you
but
think?
yeah, I mean,
Go ahead. Sorry, Meech.
I was just gonna say it'd be interesting to see. I don't think it's that big of a deal, honestly. And apparently, these were changes made because the Chiefs were running out of numbers, is what they said.
Right. Yeah. That's the. Do you think it has anything to do with like retiring numbers and shit? Because I know like the Yankees kind of have a bit of an issue with that because they retire everybody's fucking number. So
Well, the thing with
yeah, I mean,
football really
that's-
doesn't do it much.
I know. That's why I didn't know if there was like maybe a certain team that's a little like retire number happy.
the Chiefs requested the number, but all of the longer franchises in the NFL are going to run in this problem soon if they haven't already. I'm
Yeah.
sure Pittsburgh
Right.
has a problem with this. They've had Hall of Fame team. I mean, their whole defense was
Right.
inducted,
Right.
which means half of the numbers that are available are no longer available. So like
Right.
it makes sense that you would want to do this. The other thing, which I don't know how you guys feel about this or not, but like, is retiring a jersey number really that big of a deal?
No, I'm so glad you brought this up because I wanted to bring it up as well. I think some teams are a little too happy with it. I don't like. I get it if it's a player who changed the game, you know,
So there's the
or
thing-
like was with your team for 15 years and basically made them relevant. I get it, but some teams it's just like, why are you retiring this fucking guy's number?
Yeah, we've seen an
So-
explosion within like the Ring of Honors lately
Right.
as
Right.
well, which isn't Hall of Fame, but the team itself is deciding to retire the jersey, which is stupid.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What are you gonna say, Dubs?
So I think the Red Sox are like a really good example of how you should do it. And there's teams that don't do it well and they get jersey retire happy, like you said.
Yeah.
already. But there's only 10 people from the Red Sox that have had their jerseys retired, not including Jackie Robinson.
Right.
And they've been around for fucking ever.
Yeah, I feel the same way about the Rangers. They've been around since like the 20s, and I think there's 4 or 5 people,
Like, in
maybe
my
6. There's less than 10 with a retired number.
In my lifetime, 3 people have gone in for the Red Sox, and it was Ortiz, Boggs, and Pedro. Boggs, I could give a fuck less about, but Ortiz and Pedro, like I went to the games where they retired
Right.
both of their jerseys, and like that, like to me, that's a big deal. But again, like there's teams that wear out the
Exactly.
what's the word for it?
Yeah, it's like if you they just
It's not as much of an honor.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I agree with you. Like I said, the Rangers have been around since the 20s, and there's definitely less than 10 people with retired numbers. In my lifetime,
that's how
I
it
think it's
should
like
be.
3. It's like Leach, Richter, and Messier, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
Or,
and
I
that's how it
think
should be.
Henrik's number 2. I think they're retired. They're going to anyway. So,
If you're gonna
What?
do it like that, where a team's been around for a century and they have
yeah.
that little, then I feel like that's okay to avoid because you're honoring the people that deserve it.
Exactly. I agree with you.
But we're
feel
gonna say,
like
Mitch?
I just feel like the retired number thing's kind of outdated, and I feel like even those retired Hall of Famers, I feel like most of them don't care anymore. Like
No,
I
I
feel like
agree
if
with
someone
you.
went
Yeah.
to Ortiz or Poppy, to just your credit, or like Kershaw went to Koufax and was like, "Hey, can I have your number?" I mean, Koufax is Kershaw's mentor, so I'm guessing it would be cool to him to have his number.
Right.
So like I feel like retired numbers used to be more of a thing of respect, and I feel like we've kind of changed respect for other people. Like if you wear that number of a franchise, like I feel like not anyone should be able to do it, but if it's
Right.
like a solid member of your team, a veteran member of your team that you look up to and have dealt with at least in your lifetime, then you should be able to wear that number if they're good with it. Like if they give their
I no, I agree. I
Like, not
agree
that
with
this
you.
would happen, but it's like Xander Bogaerts were gonna go up to Ortiz and be like, I want to wear 34. Like you'd be cool with it if he gave it to him. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm
I
saying.
got
And I
you,
think
got you.
like I feel like Big Poppy is the kind of guy who's a mentor. Like I mean, you saw the interactions with Mookie and him post game, and like you saw nothing but respect and nothing like that's who.
Xander too,
That's,
when he was a rookie in 2013.
yeah, and so that's what I'm saying. Like all those guys have, and I feel like Poppy would be cool with it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, no, for
Because
sure.
those guys still have the ace in the hole of saying, yeah, but we know who the real one is.
Right, exactly. Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with you. I agree with both of you. For me, it's just it still does hold some weight if you don't overdo it, like Dub said.
Right.
You know, when
I'm
they
on that
retire
boat, too.
Brian Leach's number, I'm all for it because Brian Leach is Brian Leach and he changed the game. Like, to me, if
Right.
they changed the game, it's a different conversation, which there aren't that many players that do that. So I guess it's still the same point. I'm talking
Yeah.
in circles here.
I'm in that boat too, but I completely understand where you're coming from.
I mean, it's not the
Yeah.
Yankees' fault. They've had so many Hall of Famers.
Oh,
but-
they're just
Yeah.
the best. Yeah.
Also, I want to say I hate the no names on the back of jerseys. It's fucking stupid.
It's fucking
Um,
so stupid, dude.
It's I'm glad you feel that way because
The
that could
dumbest
also
shit.
help. That could also help with the retired number thing. You know what I
I've
mean?
said that was fucking dumb since I was a little kid. I was like, why are there no names on the jerseys?
I mean, I don't
Or it fucking
hate it,
does that.
but I totally see your point.
It's the
stupid.
worst. It's the absolute worst.
It's pretty stupid.
I love
Where are
every
we?
time
What are we
you say
talking
that.
about?
Every time you say, it's the worst.
It's the
There's
worst.
just this like
The worst.
fucking passion in it when you say it. Love it. I'm here for it all
You have
day.
to really like drag out the first O and worst.
Yeah, it's the worst.
It's the worst.
Like if I was ever in a like the same room as Meech and we were at a party and somebody was talking to him and I just heard him go, "It's the worst," I would just look at that person and be like, "You should walk away now." This is not
gonna-
the
he's
next
about
5
to go
minutes are
off.
not going to
Yeah.
be good for you. Just walk away.
And
It's gonna
that's-
be torn
that's
off
also
in the
a sign
next
I'm about to
5
get
10
into an-
minutes.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's also the sign I'm gonna get into an argument with you and not change my opinion
Yeah.
whatsoever.
That means you're a fucking clown. Is coming around the
You're
corner
a fucking
real quick.
clown.
I mean, if you ever hear that, if I ever hear that, I'm going to tell the person, "Don't walk away now. Run away."
Yeah, that's like me calling someone a cunt, dude. If I call you a clown, that is the biggest insult that I can ever.
I
call.
know, which is funny because sometimes I'll call you a clown and I don't realize that you may take that way harder than I mean it.
Oh, I don't care. I don't
Okay,
care.
all right. I just
he
the way
knows-
I use it.
Yeah, because
sometimes
he
I'll use
knows
it
how
lightly
he's
too.
intending it.
Right. Yeah. Sometimes I'll use it lightly too. I just like saying clown. That guy's a clown. You know what I mean? Like,
it is a good one.
I'll use that over like cunt.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
That's
fucking
the same
clown.
thing with being like, "Oh, you're a fucking dickhead." But you mean it. You know you mean it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because I can be like, "Oh, you're a dick." But then if I'm like, "Yo, you're a fucking dick," it's like, "Oh, okay." It's a different tone. I think we were just only on the jersey numbers, Dubs. I don't think
We
any
got through
further.
that.
Yeah,
We got-
but I'm just saying. I think we're past
Gotcha.
that now. Yeah.
All right. Gronk. Rob Gronkowski did his best David Rush impression. Went out there and broke a Guinness World Record. He caught a football from a helicopter, dropped a ball 600 feet down to Gronkowski waiting below, who caught the ball for a Guinness World Record.
All right, that's
Nothing
fucking
to it
dope.
there.
That's dope.
Probably because he realized he's never gonna beat any of Tony.
Shut the fuck up. We're not doing this. We're not doing this right now. We've already been going an hour. We're not doing this.
That's fucking dope. That's pretty baller record. I like it. I'm here for that too.
God damn it, Meech. All right.
A poll. I don't know. If I took a poll of everyone in the nation, who would feel that
I
way?
think you're
'Cause
going
I
to be
know
a
I have
lot more
so many
surprised
people.
by the results than you think.
I
you
don't
are.
think I would. I think just in the Northeast, I would not be
Let's
surprised. I
start
think everywhere else, I
a
would
Twitter
be.
poll.
Well, no, because his
Fucking-
Twitter is Boston centralized. He's gonna.
Fair
win.
enough. Fair enough.
Like,
It's
that's just not even
100%
fair.
true.
I want someone that's national to do a poll that's like, because I feel
like
like
rap, like fucking Schefter or Rappaport or someone.
yeah, I want someone like that to do a poll because I feel like most people are on my side about that.
Hey, Adam Schefter, you're totally listening, so get on that shit. Make it fucking snappy. So a little bit of draft talk here before we wrap up the NFL. The Lions are expected to trade away the number 7 pick, or they're at least trying to move it as of right now. And I was looking at a stat. 5 number 1 overall picks since 2001 have never made a Pro Bowl. 2 are Joe Burrow and Baker Mayfield. Who are the other 3, Beach?
Yeah, Meech. Who are they?
So hold on, you said five
I'll
first
say it
number
again.
1 overall?
Yep. 5 number 1 overall picks since 2001. The 2001 Vic overall picks since then have never made a Pro Bowl. 2 are Joe Burrow and Baker Mayfield. Who are the other 3?
See, and because I have a horrible memory, those are the 2 I would have named. Let me. I can't.
We
oh
talked
my
about
God.
one last show.
Once again,
and one
to
was an
reiterate,
eagle.
I have a horrible memory.
One was a bird.
I have no idea. I don't know number 1.
David
overall.
Carr,
Okay.
Jamarcus Russell,
Okay.
Sam Bradford.
You know, I'm kind of shocked Sam Bradford never went to the Pro Bowl.
I don't know why people remember him. I thought he sucked his entire career.
No, I want to say, and this let's see if this gets to you. He was the Kirk Cousins before there was a Kirk Cousins.
Okay.
Serviceable, but he was a number 1 overall pick. And whenever you're a number 1 overall pick, you have loftier expectations. He was also the last of the giant contracts to first round picks.
Yeah.
So he was the last of the giving 80 million or whatever to your first
He
round
had
overall pick.
one okay season in St. Louis. He had a good season in Minnesota and not
He had a decent season with the Eagles.
19 touchdowns, 14 picks.
Was that his best season with the Eagles?
This is only season with the Eagles.
Oh. Well, maybe people all do remember him too fondly. He's like, I feel like he's one of those people that would have been a back. People think of him as like a career backup.
Yeah.
But people actually might have more respect for him than that, I guess, because he got traded to the Cardinals for like a
That's
lot.
what I'm saying. People like overvalued him like his whole career. He blew out his knee in his 4th season and was never really good again.
He had a lot of injury things, but I feel like if he didn't have injury things, he would have been on that level of Kirk Cousins. There. Let me readjust my statement.
I'll give you that.
Yeah. Also, he was the first overall, and first overalls are just criticized all over the place.
Yeah, ruthlessly. Yeah,
Right.
That's true.
for sure.
But that was it for our core 4 sports there.
Okay.
Look at those rhymes.
So you want to?
Now we're
That
talking
was dope. That was dope.
Football.
That was dope. That
Yeah,
was
we're
dope.
moving over across the pond here for some
Yeah.
football.
Oh,
it's
Meech is
funny
bringing
because
up
We're
some
switching,
actual
switching it
football.
up on you boys.
Yeah, some football. Sounded like fucking what's the delivery guy in Big Daddy there? Football.
Rob Schneider.
Yeah, Rob
Keep-
Schneider.
Keep a ploppamus.
Damn you! You give him all the easy ones. Anyway, the European Soccer League appeared
Super
and then
League.
disappeared within a matter of 5 days.
The Super League. Yeah. Did you see what Jurgen Klopp said from Liverpool?
I did
Lobster?
not.
Yeah, he was like, I mean, who wants? I think it was Arsenal. He was like, who wants to see Liverpool and Arsenal play each other every year? And I love Jurgen Klopp, man. He's the man. Yeah.
I did not see that quote, but I mean, this was
They do.
a
They're both
seismic
in the Premier
shift.
League.
What?
What?
They're both in the Premier League.
Yeah.
They do
yeah,
play each
yeah.
other every year.
I know.
Right. Anyway, so this was a seismic shift in the way European soccer has been run. It was a big deal. And reports from like Rebecca Lowe said that it would change the whole shape of European and specifically English football and the way the Premier League works and the money that trickles down. So it was a huge deal. 8 of the teams that were in the Super League were from the Premiership. They have since dropped out due to heavy pressure from their fans, who went to the headquarters of each team and protested pretty angrily until the owners felt the pressure to drop out. And now 3 of the owners that are not European, 3 of the owners that are Americans, John Henry, Stan Kroenke, and the Glazer family, who all own Premier League teams, are under intense pressure to get rid of those franchises.
Real pressure.
Yeah, because of this max exodus and the fact that that is their sport and they don't want to see money ruin it. And I thought it was pretty dope. I thought it was pretty dope that their fans were just pissed and that England as a whole realized it would change the Premiership.
Outrage.
Yeah, they do not fuck around with football, man. I was following Liverpool for a few years, and we would go to this one pub in town that was like a football pub, and some of the people in there, like, they did not fuck around, man. They do not fuck around about that game. So
right, and
I'm not surprised.
Rebecca Lowe on the Dan Patrick Show said it would change the whole dynamic that the Premiership has, and that, you know, this is people's religion, and I mean, we see it with our sports here too, how impactful they can be.
Yeah,
but we have 4 major sports, as you guys mentioned in transitioning from this.
Right,
that is the one sport that rules all there. They have other sports, but that is the NFL there, basically.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think what Jurgen Klopp was really talking about is the fact that it would basically make it so that they were playing each other in the finals every year. And he was like, who wants to see that? He clearly was not happy with it in the 5-minute snippet of the conference that I watched. So, yeah, I mean, I'm with you, Meech. I think it's really fucking crazy and kind of cool to see that, like, all the fans are just like, nah, bro, not today. But like I said, they take it very seriously.
Fans were mad at their own teams.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of cool because I feel like, I don't know if that would happen here. If,
I agree with you.
The big franchises here tried to split away from the NFL to their own separate things. So it was really cool that the fans got mad at their own franchises.
Like accountability.
Exactly. A really cool story about how soccer is in that nation's DNA and how this would have dramatically changed that.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Wholly and fully. So, Dubs, you want to let the people know what's going on with the Twitch before we get out of here?
I sure fucking do. Like Birdie said in the intro, we're down to 1 show a week, but our first live stream is going to be tomorrow when this comes out, Thursday, for the night of the NFL draft with me, Bertleby, and special guest Papa Dubs making his first appearance on Stone Sports as our senior draft analyst. Make sure to tune in on Twitch Thursday night for some good times, some good weed, and hopefully some entertainment for what's typically a dull event in casual fans' eyes. Twitch is Stone Sports Podcast, all one word, all lowercase. So come have a good time with us on Thursday night.
All right. Anything else you boys want to talk about before we get out of here?
Should be it.
Negatory.
All right. Well, let's get the hell out of here. Thanks for listening to this episode. Follow us on all the socials. It's Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch, as Dub said, and YouTube. It's all Stone Sports Podcast. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.